Oftentimes, the job of a Twitch streamer is to build a parasocial relationship with their audience to gain a larger following. But unfortunately, sometimes unwell fans will take this to the point of stalking. Broadcasting from the United Kingdom, Sweet Anita is an internet personality known for live streaming on Twitch. Joining the platform in 2018, she was an overnight sensation, surpassing 250,000 followers within months. And this growth has only continued since then, with her channel today sitting at 1.7 million. Her appeal largely comes from her calm demeanor and honesty with chat, particularly in regards to mental health and her struggle with Tourette's. Beyond misunderstandings related to her nervous system disorder, she has otherwise remained non-controversial. Anita is perhaps one of the least controversial figures on the entire site, and because of this, one wouldn't expect her to attract much negative attention. However, a career involving online fame always comes with a heightened risk of attracting those prone to developing unhealthy obsessions with the faces on their screen, which is where our story starts today. But the actions of this individual are far more horrifying than a mere parasocial relationship, instead going into the realm of criminal stalking. The first public reference Anita ever made regarding this creepy individual would be on November 7th, 2019. Like many other streamers, Anita followed a loosely defined schedule, so she let the audience know that day's stream would be cancelled on account of her pursuer's arrest. She tweeted out that, "The police have caught and detained my stalker, so I'm having to cancel tonight's stream. I'll be in the station all night giving a statement and evidence, but hopefully I'll finally be safe and able to stream by Sunday." The individual, who to this very day has never been publicly identified, had been harassing her for weeks up until that point, though Anita refrained from discussing it much to avoid giving him attention. It was only upon his detainment that she felt comfortable enough to speak about it openly, assuming it had been resolved. She elaborated to those inquiring that this person wasn't an online stalker, but an in-person one who'd spent hours waiting outside of her house, and at one point even slept in her backyard. She alleges that the harassment began approximately a month prior, and in that time he'd even managed to assault her. Unfortunately, Anita didn't return to the police station that night with good news. The following morning, she revealed that despite capturing him with a knife and being presented evidence of his deranged behavior, law enforcement released the fanatic after giving him a stern warning. They were said to have been provided screenshots, recordings, witness testimony, and even heard his own confession to no avail. She went on to elaborate just how obsessive the crazed man was, noting he'd gone from innocently visiting her town for a short period of time to moving to a place 4 minutes from her house permanently. Anita ends the thread stating that she'd become used to the lack of protection from the police and felt little more could be done. However, when Anita finally did manage to go live, she spoke very minimally on the situation, explaining that she didn't want to come across as milking it.
Well, I'm not gonna milk the situation. I'm happy to be open about it and my experiences, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm so scared, I sure hope you all donate to me and stuff. You don't need to throw money at me out of pity or anything. I'm cool. I'm good. I'm gonna be fine. This has happened before. I'm gonna be okay.
And that would be the last we heard about the unwanted visitor for a while, as she returned to dealing with the situation privately. While fans were hopeful that the individual would calm down as she speculated, in actuality, behind the scenes his behavior was only getting worse. We would first see this alluded to in March of 2020, in what was her first public reference to him in months. Anita writes, "Sorry everyone, I didn't think I'd be admitting this, but I'm burnt out. I won't be online tonight. I'll do an extra stream to make up for it next week. My stalker has done some crazy stuff. I'm rushing YouTube videos, streaming, caring for mom, the animals. I really need a break." Details were vague at the time as she tried her best not to make a spectacle of the matter, but 1 month later he would do something that made this impossible. The deranged viewer had escalated his behavior and began sitting outside Anita's house all day, every day, waiting for her to leave. And in the first week of April, he finally caught her as she left to go shopping. He began to follow the lone woman, causing her to eventually turn around and demand he leave her alone. She then asked if he had a knife, to which he only responded by smirking silently. Anita then asked if he'd let her walk home alone, to which he replied yes. However, when she turned to cross the road, he began to chase the frightened streamer, forcing two shopkeepers to intervene and restrain him.
So I went through the gate and they held it closed so that he couldn't pass them and continue to follow me. It's not the worst thing he's done. He has actually physically assaulted me.
As a result, there was finally enough grounds for an arrest, as he was held overnight in jail and sentenced the next day. The stalker was not only given a restraining order, but also legally barred from entering the town entirely. He was escorted by authorities to collect belongings from the guest house he'd been residing in. With there now being a conviction for his actions, Anita once again felt comfortable enough to reflect publicly on the situation. She tweeted on April 8th, "Yesterday I got a call. He has been arrested and convicted of stalking. He's been told to pack his things and banned from entering my town. There is a restraining order and suspended sentence of 2 months in prison. I really hope that he honors this and I will finally be safe." With this, fans heaved a sigh of relief, as it seemed to be the end of the torment their favorite online personality had endured. Unfortunately, as we would soon find out, sweet Anita's problems were only getting started. We'll learn more about this after a brief word from our sponsor. Did you know the biggest organ in the human body is your skin? Knowing that fact, it's a shame so many guys don't seem to care about keeping it healthy. This is where Geology comes into play, a simple skincare routine formulated for daily use. I've started using their products as a preventative measure to make sure that my skin stays healthy. By taking a quick 30-second quiz on their website explaining if you have sensitive skin, acne, dark circles under your eyes, or wrinkles, they will provide you what you need to resolve those problems. With that, they'll start you off on a complete trial set of products including everyday face wash, vital morning face cream, repairing night cream, and nourishing eye cream. And from there, you can continue with 90-day supplies of the products you love most. Subscribe and save or go a la carte, you're in total control. And since Geology has over 30,000 5-star customer reviews, you will not regret trying them out. So head to geology.com and take their free skincare quiz to save up to 40% off your 30-day trial, or just click the link below. That's geology.com to save 40% off your 30-day trial. While the news that law enforcement had finally intervened in this blatant case of stalking sounded great at first, Anita would quickly realize that how authorities handled the situation may not have been enough. As she previously mentioned, the lunatic was only given a suspended sentence, which is essentially a probation period. If not caught violating the terms, he'd avoid spending any time in prison, meaning that despite being found guilty, he was effectively free. This brings us a few months later to July 13th, when Anita tweeted out that the stalker wasn't honoring the restraining order, forcing her to cancel that morning's stream to speak with the police. She later showed a screenshot of a message the stalker had sent in chat publicly during her last broadcast. "I'll kill you, not with the cheap kitchen knife I had last time. No, I'm gonna bring something special for you." She then points out that the last time he sent messages like this was right before the incident that got him convicted. Despite police being aware of the crazed fans' persistence, threats, as well as multiple attempted assaults, they provided little in terms of help. It especially felt ridiculous given they found enough reason to supposedly ban him from the entire town. Anita became furious with their inaction, finally speaking out at length about both the stalker's crimes as well as venting about how her compliance with police went nowhere. "If anything happens to me, I really hope that I'm the last canary in the coal mine. The law needs to change. No job should have such a high risk of rape, assault, or death, especially not live streaming. The sad thing is, I have had this happen before, even before streaming, and I know he won't be the last. I'm exasperated. No matter how extreme the situation, the response has always been the same. They log it and do nothing. and I feel helpless. 2 days later, police visited her home to discuss how she should deal with the threat moving forward. According to Anita, they demonstrated a complete lack of understanding as to the circumstances, unaware of what doxing or even live streaming was. When she tried to explain it to them, they asked why she didn't just quit making content. They then advised that she simply lock her doors and call them if he reappears. It would appear that no further action is being taken. I have to wait for him to harm me again before they will take action. We all get stalkers. The problem is not content creators, it's stalkers. I was thinking, sure, I'll just quit and take up telesales or work in a nursery. That'll work with Tourette's. Meanwhile, the convicted serial harasser was only further emboldened, leaving even more messages in her chat. This time, he threatened not to just kill the innocent streamer, but her family as well, stating, "When I'll go to your house the next time, you're going to die. Then your buns, and then your mum." This was in reference to her pet rabbits as well as her elderly mother, which sweet Anita took care of. In that same thread detailing law enforcement's incompetency, she began responding to the various suggestions many had sent her way. When asked why she didn't just purchase a gun, Anita pointed out that a consequence of her Tourette's are sporadic motor tics. Firearms are much more difficult to acquire in the United Kingdom compared to the US in the first place, and as she wrote herself, she couldn't be trusted with a hot cup of coffee, let alone a gun. As for why she couldn't move, Anita explained that she needed to care for her mother, and thus had to live nearby. This, in combination with her pets, makes viable housing options slim, and the town is small enough that regardless, the stalker could simply camp around stores, and then follow her home after shopping. Anita ended the thread by stating that she wanted to fix the issue not just for her, but all online personalities, because Twitch, YouTube, and the police seem to be failing them. She even questioned if it would take her death before things were taken seriously. Since then, she's spoken with both other streamers as well as news outlets such as Insider regarding her continued harassment. In her interview with the latter, she provided some updates. "Since my tweets about the threats went viral, they mysteriously picked up the case again, but have been telling me that it's not likely, or they are uncertain that it will amount to any further action. The police don't even turn up when I call anymore. I have only called them about 4 or 5 times in the past 9 months, which is far fewer times than he has actually threatened me, because I've learned that they won't do anything to help." To this day, Anita is still being harassed by her stalker and alleges that UK authorities have neglected to pursue further action. This included when he threatened to murder her on stream, as well as times he's continued to appear in chat while violating court orders.
This counts as indirect contact. I think it might actually count as direct contact. I see you there. There are ways to prove that this is you specifically. And I was actually... Oh god, buddy, I was actually considering dropping this part because I'd actually have to, take it to court and stuff, but I thought, nah, after everything that you've done, I thought you were gonna stop. I thought, no, he wouldn't be dumb enough to keep on going after this. It's over, I can just let it all go. But you keep messaging, and this counts as contact. So I'm going to have to press charges for the online harassment as well, and that's a separate charge. So, that's not gonna end well for you. Stop. Genuinely. Wow, there's no lube in prison!
Even after all this time, very few details regarding the specifics of the case are actually known. Anita has refused to reveal the police department or even Stalker's identity out of fear of giving away her location. Though it is understandable why she would want to retain her privacy, citing potential copycats, we haven't been provided much in terms of proof that the recent messages are that same individual, rather than just being a new troll. Regardless, it is best to give Anita the benefit of the doubt that she knows more than us. In her effort to raise public awareness, she has yet to find a single popular streamer who's escaped this type of harassment, or even received any meaningful help from police or platforms to deal with it. As she said to the website Insider, "My safety is in my own hands. He has threatened to kill my mum and my animals before me, and every day I wake up wondering if it's my last. So there you have the story of Sweet Anita, which perfectly highlights how oftentimes the local law enforcement in your area will be unprepared to help you with online harassment, meaning that you'll have to fend for yourself. And with that scary thought, I'll end the video here. So until next time, thanks for watching.